Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're looking into something pretty profound, actually. It's this idea from the Australia Buddha's Practice Incorporated Association about how you can, well, transform suffering, not just cope with it, but turn it into joy.
Exactly. It's quite a perspective shift.
Yeah, shifting it into something positive for yourself and, for others too.
Right. And think of this deep dive as exploring that fundamental idea, the power of what they call great compassion.
Great compassion. Okay.
Our goal here is really to unpack the what, the how, and maybe the why of it all.
Yeah.
The core principles, the practical ways to do it, and the kind of results you might expect.
Okay, so taking suffering, which feels so negative, right, and flipping it into joy, that feels ambitious. Where do we even start?
Well, it really begins inside in the mind. Specifically, it's about consciously developing this deliberate intention, an intention that's rooted in compassion.
Okay.
The teaching suggests that, well, every single action, good or bad, it has these three parts. A root, which is the intention.
The intention, right.
A method, how you do it, and then a result, what happens because of it. And that compassionate intention, that's the crucial root, the starting point.
So it's not enough to just say, do something nice for someone. There has to be this specific feeling or thought behind it.
Precisely. If you do kind things, but without that core compassionate drive, it's described as indeterminate karma.
Indeterminate karma. What does that mean exactly?
It means it might be positive, sure, but it lacks that real deep transformative punch. It's like planting a seed without strong roots. It might sprout, but it won't flourish in the same way.
Oh, okay. So it's like a nice gesture that's fine, but doesn't have lasting impact.
Sort of, yeah. It lacks that focused energy. On the flip side, think about harmful intentions. They definitely set negative things in motion.
Right.
But when you cultivate a really strong, clear intention, this genuine wish to ease suffering and bring happiness, that's where the real power lies. The teaching says this intention itself is incredibly potent.
Potent, ow. Just thinking it.
Even before you act outwardly, yes. The idea is that just generating this deep, heartfelt compassion can create immense merit. They even use this image of 2 mountains worth of positive karma.
Wow, 2 mountains. Just
Yeah.
from the feeling, the intention.
It highlights the sheer force of a truly compassionate mindset. It's about the kind of energetic shift that happens when your deepest motivation is genuinely for the well-being of others.
That's a lot to take in. 2 mountains. Okay, so we have this powerful intention. How do we actually, bring that into the world? What are the practical steps, the methods?
Right. The methods are the how. They're the tangible ways we express that compassionate intention. These are the means.
Okay.
And it's really important to remember, these methods are most effective, most powerful when they're directly connected to that root intention we talked about.
Right. Otherwise, they're just going through the motions.
Exactly. They risk becoming just routine or maybe done out of obligation, lacking that spark.
Okay. So intention fuels the methods. What kind of methods are we talking about here? Give me some examples.
Well, one really fundamental way is just spreading joy through, small everyday things.
Like what?
A genuine smile, maybe a kind word when someone needs it, a thoughtful gesture. Things that might seem tiny, but they can create this ripple effect, a positive ripple.
Yeah, it's true, isn't it? A small kindness can sometimes completely change your day or someone else's.
Absolutely. Then there's sharing wisdom. This is seen as quite profound. Offering teachings, like the Buddha's teachings, that help people find lasting happiness by addressing the roots of suffering. That's considered like the ultimate gift.
The ultimate gift, okay. Because it goes deeper than just temporary relief.
Exactly. And then, of course, there's material support, giving food, money, resources.
Practical help.
Yes, practical help. And even if it's a small amount, when it's given with that genuine compassionate intention, it carries real weight.
So it's less about how much you give and more about the why and how you give it.
Precisely. That's the core idea. Also, doing good work. Just completing your tasks, whatever they are, with care and attention, thinking about how it benefits others or how they might appreciate it. That's a method too.
Interesting. So even just doing your job well can be a compassionate act.
If the intention is there, yes. And then there's a really key one, transforming how we react in difficult interactions. Especially when someone causes us pain, harsh words, hurtful actions.
Oh, that's the tough one. Because the instinct is just to react, right? To defend yourself or lash out.
It absolutely is. It's challenging. But this is where the transformation can be huge.
Yeah.
Instead of reacting with anger or resentment, which just continues the cycle of suffering,
Yeah.
you consciously choose a different path. Use wisdom, compassion, try to remain calm, maybe even silently wish that person well, despite what they've done or said.
So instead of firing back, you try to find this inner calm, this compassionate response, even if it's just internal.
Exactly. It breaks that chain of negativity. It shifts the dynamic from just more suffering to potentially healing. You're responding from understanding, not just reacting from pain.
That takes practice, I imagine.
A lot of practice. And finally, even something simple like gratitude, actively reflecting on kindness you've received, feeling genuine appreciation. That cultivates joy in you, and you tend to radiate that outwards.
It's like focusing on the good, which then grows the good.
That's a great way to put it. And the common thread, the thing that powers all these methods, is that compassionate intention. It gives them life.
Right.
Think about it this way. If you intentionally hurt someone, every time they remember that pain, the negative impact can kind of echo, maybe even grow in their mind, right?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Well, the teaching suggests kindness works similarly, but in a positive way. Each time someone recalls your compassionate act and feels that warmth or joy again, the positive energy, the merit associated with it, can actually multiply.
So our actions, driven by intention, have these ongoing ripples, positive or negative. That's quite a responsibility, but also an opportunity.
It is.
So we've got the intention, the methods. What about the results? What's the ultimate outcome of really living this way with great compassion? What's this harvest of joy look like?
The results are described as, well, vast and deeply personal, too. A huge aspect is this idea of the exponential growth of merit.
Exponential growth. You mentioned merit multiplying.
Yes. Every time you act compassionately, bring someone joy, and they remember that feeling, your own positive karma, your merit, it doesn't just add up, it can multiply. Significant.
How significantly? Is there like a scale for this?
Well, the teachings actually offer some sense of it.
Yeah.
They say kindness to, say, ordinary people might bring a 10-fold increase in merit.
10 times.
Kindness towards people who are already actively practicing virtue, maybe a 1,000-fold increase.
Wow.
And then kindness towards spiritual practitioners, bodhisattvas. These are beings deeply dedicated to liberating everyone. That could be a 10,000-fold increase.
10,000 times. That's hard to even grasp.
It is. It's why they use metaphors like 2 mountains of merit or wealth greater than, anyone could imagine. It's trying to convey the sheer scale of the positive impact.
So the benefit isn't just linear. It really compounds based on who you're helping and your intention.
Exactly. And here's another really interesting part. When others remember your kindness and feel happy because of it, it's almost like they are practicing on your behalf. Their joy reinforces and adds to your merit.
So our good deeds can actually inspire positive feelings in others, which then loops back and benefits us even more.
Precisely. It creates this amazing positive feedback loop.
That's incredible. What about the internal effects? Does it change how you feel?
Oh, absolutely. That's perhaps the most direct result. Consistently practicing compassion starts to change your inner landscape. Any heaviness or irritability, maybe from past negative actions or just life's difficulties, it begins to lift.
You feel lighter.
Yes. Lighter, happier. You might find yourself feeling this kind of baseline joy that isn't necessarily tied to specific good things happening. It's an internal shift. Your whole sort of karmic makeup starts to change.
So it's like an inner cleansing, an upliftment that comes from focusing outwards with compassion.
That's a perfect way to describe it.
Yeah.
And ultimately, this whole path, transforming suffering into joy through great compassion, it shapes your destiny in a positive way.
Yeah.
It's even presented as a direct path towards becoming fully awakened.
Awakened, like enlightenment.
Yes, becoming what they call a pure Buddha, free of baggage. By actively working to ease suffering and create joy for others, you are simultaneously clearing your own path to liberation.
It really is this beautiful cycle then. Helping others is, in a very real sense, helping yourself on the deepest level.
Exactly. Our compassion for others and our own spiritual progress are completely intertwined. You can't really separate them.
This has definitely given me, and I'm sure our listeners, a lot to think about. If you had to boil it down, what's the main takeaway here?
I'd say the absolute core message is that this transformation, suffering into joy, it starts with that genuine, powerful intention, that sincere wish to ease others' pain and bring them happiness.
The intention is key.
It is. And then you need to actually live that intention. Through your actions, day by day, use every opportunity, big or small, especially perhaps in those moments where it feels hardest.
So those challenging interactions we talked about, they're not just obstacles, they're actually prime opportunities.
Absolutely. That's where the muscle of compassion really gets exercised and strengthened. And the result, as we've discussed, is a life that feels richer, more joyful, this accumulation of positive merit, and ultimately a clear path toward your own awakening.
It's a powerful framework. And just to remind everyone, this teaching comes from the Australia Buddha's Practice Incorporated Association. It really underscores that even when things are difficult, we have this capacity within us to cultivate joy.
We really do. So maybe, as you go about your day-to-day, just try cultivating one single thought of genuine compassion for someone, anyone.
Just one thought.
Just one. And just consider, what ripple effect might that single intention set in motion?
That's a wonderful and maybe quite powerful thought to end on. Thank you so much for walking us through this.
My pleasure.
Until our next deep dive, may your compassionate intentions ripple outwards.